Yo, bro, you got a second to spare?
Not right now, bro.
Yeah, hey, please, it's just 4 quick questions. You can answer real quick?
Alright, bro, hit me.
Alright, how does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues?
Alright, so pretty much, my film, it follows a typical structure of a conflict-driven story where tensions began to escalate as there was a misunderstanding. Alright, so follow me. So even though the conflict was never real, it shows how miscommunication can be a leading cause to creating unnecessary situations. Alright, so pretty much the film began by showing how the friends were imprisoned by modern day technology, showing how were all trapped to their screens. Because this teaches how in the beginning the friends were physically together, but towards the end they were emotionally disconnected due to the distractions posed straight in their faces. This highlights how technology can isolate people even in a social setting. The main character panicking over his phone only further highlights my point as to how our cell phones nowadays have become a form of security and identity. Oh yeah, so pretty much, the teenage friendship makes this relatable to a younger audience, showing the threat that reliance on technology can have on a friendship, overall critiquing the modern communication habits.
Alright, so next question. How does your product engage with audiences, and how would it be distributed as a real media text?
Alright, so pretty much. Alright, so my film, it engages audiences through reliability, suspense, as well as a hint of humor. Many viewers are able to relate to that feeling of losing their phone, especially teenagers nowadays. This creates a connection with the viewer, allowing them to relate to the main character's thoughts and feelings throughout the entire film. Alright, now you have a seat and I'll explain. And throughout the film, tension builds as the main character becomes frantic about his phone, even going to the point of being suspicious and accusing his own friends. The constant accusations kept the viewer engaged throughout the entire film, then giving the twist and a sense of humor, surprising them and showing the unnecessary accusations caused by the main character being so mentally driven and stuck to that cell phone. Stick with me though. The film also lets the viewer reflect onto their own behaviors and just how much they rely on their own cell phones and modern day technology day to day. As well as, if my film were to be distributed as a real media text, I believe that it would be best suited for platforms like Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube because of its short length and fast-paced narrative, therefore catching the attention of anyone who scrolls by.
You ready for the next question?
Alright, what's the third question?
Alright, so how did your production skills develop throughout this entire project?
Alright, so basically, throughout this project, my production skills have drastically developed in a multitude of areas like planning, filming, and editing, overall being able to overcome challenges we faced as developing the film. Like, in the beginning, I had a clear idea of the film I wanted to create, so all I had to do was bring that idea to life. I was able to quickly pre-produce the film, finding the exact location for each one of my films, thinking to myself on exactly how and what I will do in between each scene. During the film, I was able to use lighting, camera work, and angles to create that feeling that I was going for in the film. Throughout the film, I was able to frame shots effectively and use the camera angles to show the actors' emotions. For example, I used closer shots during the main character's investigation. This was to show the seriousness and the stress of the situation. Branching off of that, another thing I was able to improve on was developing my teamwork and direction skills. Throughout the film, I was able to communicate to my team exactly how I wanted the film to look and exactly what would make that happen. Leading over a group of teenage boys had its difficulties, like with making jokes throughout the film and during the time crunch that we were on, but we were able to overcome this and able to lock in. Leading over this group allowed me to understand how to communicate and showed me the importance of being specific on what I wanted to communicate. All right, so we're done with the questions, right?
Nah. We still got one more, bro. All right, last one. How did you integrate technology, software, hardware, and online into this project?
Okay, I got you. All right, that's a good question. So in my film, I did use a combination of all three. I used hardware, software, and online tools, all three, to be able to produce and create my film. For the hardware, I was able to just use my basic phone camera. Like, I was able to use the cinematic setting to create a better feeling of the film. Doing this also allowed me to create a lighter setting and a darker tone of shot. Being the one who was recording, I also had to rely on a steady hand to make sure I captured the clear shots. Having to keep the camera as still as possible wasn't too difficult. I just had to adjust a few times to get the perfect shot. For software, I used a familiar platform called CapCut. With CapCut, I was able to put my films together and edit it all at once. With CapCut, it also allowed me to control the pacing as well as creating that tension I wanted to create to build and show that dramatic effect of the film. Towards the end of my film, I realized that the film was just a bit too long, yet CapCut allowed me to cut down and shorten the film to the exact length I wanted. And like you asked, for online tools, I was able to use websites like Google and Safari to research and ask questions that I had and analyze information. I also used tools like YouTube and other things to find tutorials on how to better my filming as well as my lighting. So yeah, to answer all four of your questions, that's pretty much it. Joshua Lopez.
Thank you for your time.